The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Critshow. Yes, where we are playing the Clockwinders. I suddenly just went, wait, which word was that? Okay, I did the right one.
Which one did I say?
Last time, our heroes had a pseudo-interrogation of the captured Ether Witch, learned some stuff about her philosophy, came to a conclusion about what to do with her. Did we? I think we did.
We're gonna drive her halfway
and dump her.
Yeah,
on the roadside.
Yeah,
and had started getting their final arrangements done before departing town again. When Maxine realized that she kind of recognized the necklace that Cevna was wearing, that it's very similar to the necklace she wears that she got from her grandmother.
that interrogation was very reminiscent of like in the Avengers movie where Black Widow's getting interrogated and she's just the one getting information that she wants.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like at the end of that interrogation with Cevna.
And the character's a redhead, so it's perfect.
We've just been Black Widowed.
You done been widowed.
We're just redoing the Avengers.
So anyway, you guys are walking around the castle and a big green guy busts through the wall.
Oh.
He says, "Donkey!"
Get out of my ether swamp.
I am definitely going to bang a dragon later.
I was over here trying to decide if that made Einon Hawkeye, and now I'm wondering if that makes him the gingerbread man instead.
So let's resume with Maxine. Maxine, you have realized, made this connection about your necklace versus her necklace. What would you like to do?
Hold on, I can't stop laughing about ether swamp.
Get
Shrek.
serious. Come on.
I can't believe you want me to just flip a switch and go into serious mode after you did a good Shrek.
The full moon comes up. She turns into a Shrek also.
It wasn't the full moon.
Oh, what was
She's
it?
not a werewolf. It was just by nighttime.
Oh, was it always at nighttime?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's human in the day.
And the second point, they're called ogres, not Shreks. We're gonna we'll be right back, everybody. We need to refresh ourselves on a film.
Oh my god!
Look, I don't actually need you to flip a switch and become serious. You take this as seriously or unseriously as you want.
I just need you to be able to breathe.
I just need you to breathe and to play the game.
And to not laugh about Shrek.
Listen, if it was able to not laugh about Shrek, there wouldn't be like 7 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the perfect comedy concept. It's impossible to not laugh at. So we jump back into the scene where Maxine has made this realization about the necklaces, but also come up with this hilarious idea for a movie where like an ogre has a Scottish accent. And so if she's ever laughing, it's because she's thinking of that again.
I knew you.
Oh no, I
She
killed her.
made the mistake of taking a drink in the middle of what was clearly going to be a bit from Jake. And I thought, this is terrible.
I thought the bit was going to end halfway through. I thought it was going to end an idea for a movie.
She's like, I thought I was going to get to do a spit take.
God. Okay. Deep breath.
Yeah.
Okay. I get up and I leave the room.
Okay. Where are you going?
Just blank face with this knowledge.
Yeah. I'm going to Cevna cell.
Okay. Are you taking anybody with you?
I don't think so. I think I'm just going straight there. It's almost kind of like an autopilot thing.
All right. Yeah, you head right down there. Again, there is like a little window in the door that you can see through, and she is still lying in her bed, bound and blindfolded. Nobody else is present, and again, it's not a prison, so there aren't fucking guards or anything. Like, you are able to approach the cell, and you'll be able to get in if you want.
I don't go in. I think I just kind of stand next to the little window. I don't even really look at her, but I'll just say aloud, "You're her, aren't you?"
You see her sit up, realizing that somebody's here and speaking to her, and she smiles, that same kind of smarmy smile she has been. The one and only, darling. You just mean like that bitch, right? Like.
From the stories, I thought you were once like sisters. Did you really come to hate my grandma that much that you'd be willing to kill her granddaughter?
You see that smile settle into one that's a little bit more muted, but a little bit more genuine. And she says, I knew you reminded me of Daphne. You're her granddaughter, huh?
The one and only.
She stands up from her bed. Again, still bound, still blindfolded. You see her kind of like reaching out with her hands, trying to make her way over to the door. You've got her spark. I wasn't going to kill you, dear.
What happened? What happened between the two of you?
Did she never tell you?
She just said that you started using ether, and the more you used it, the more that's all you wanted to do. And you forgot how important it was to be a clockwinder and to do the job that we have, and the power just overtook you and you left. You wanted her to do the same, and she wouldn't. I don't understand how you could abandon her like that. How you could abandon all of this.
She sighs and leans against the other side of the door, with her face kind of tilted towards this window that you two are talking through. I feel that's a bit of a reductive recounting of what happened. Not entirely inaccurate, but also lacking some details that perhaps she just didn't want to burden her granddaughter with. I discovered that I had an affinity for ether. A gift, I suppose. And once I came to that realization, I just started to come to more and more that the order we are maintaining is not the natural order. It's not the way that the world wants to be. That there is this incredible power that exists all around us right beneath our feet, and we are afraid to explore it, that there are beings from another place or another world that we fear because they are different, and it all stopped making sense. But Daphne and I, we could never see eye to eye on these matters. I tried for a long time to get her to see my point, and I believe that she tried, but she couldn't. She didn't understand. She didn't agree. But there was no place left for me here, and the one person that I trusted above all else, I couldn't find common ground with anymore. So I left. It pained me to leave your grandmother, believe me it did. But I could not bottle up my truth just out of a fear of losing her.
My grandma knew that risking the lives of a world full of people was not worth it to test if your theory could possibly be true. I don't think it's fair to compare yourself to the Fae. They're not from here. There are people that exist and have lives and families, and the only way that that's guaranteed is if we do our jobs, and my grandmother knew that, and she fought for it. She fought for it as long as she could, and I'm going to keep fighting for it too. Ether is corrupting. Everybody knows this. It's powerful, yes, but nobody can wield it without consequence. And I don't know exactly what it is that you're planning, but you're not going to stop us. I know that my grandma loved you, but she gave me this necklace as a reminder, not just to fight to help people that need protection, but to protect myself, to keep me from becoming you.
You see her absent-mindedly fondling the pendant on her necklace with her hands, still faintly smiling. I hold a certain respect for the sort of bullheadedness that your grandmother possessed, and clearly you do as well. I think it's one of the key similarities that helped us get along just as much as it put us at odds. I can see that you're not going to change your mind either, but know that just as sure as you are that I am wrong, I am sure that you are. And so I suppose we will just have to pursue our goals and see who's proven right by time. I do wish you luck. Not that I wish to fail, but I want it to be sporting.
I, however, don't see the fate of the world as sport. Good clock evening, Cecilia.
And I'll walk away.
Okay.
And I'm just going to find Kade or Einon, whoever I can come across first.
Yeah, where you guys at?
If this is that same evening, I'm probably still out.
There's no evening. Maxine just nailed this, and then you're going to misstep right
Oh,
afterwards.
do you mean clock evening?
Yeah,
What is it?
clock evening.
Oh, clock evening is what you're talking about. Oh, I understand now.
I'm battling a monster of my own making.
Yeah, Tass created this, and the shame he had on his face of having to say it just now is like this weird full circle clock Ouroboros that...
I feel like I think this is punishment for the hero salad openings. That's what I think this is ultimately coming all the way back around to.
I think everything is.
Hi, Jake. Ads.
Anyway, where are you guys this fine clock evening?
I know that the couple of days that I'm down with the train because I'm doing all the construction on making the rooms and stuff.
Get up, get down with the train. Okay.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on the town listening to people talk about how awesome and or terrible the parade was.
Well, it seems like Kade would be the easier of the two to find, Maxine, if that's what you're going for.
Unless you want to come get drunk.
But you'll never find. There are hundreds of bars in Sun's Edge. People got to cope with
The never-ending twilight.
Yeah, the never-ending day.
Oh, God.
I'll run up to the train.
Kade? Kade, are you here?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I need to talk to you.
Okay. Do you want to come in? You want to see? Do you want your bed higher or lower?
Wow. You've been working.
Yeah, I thought, we're going to be traveling, so I might as well make it so that everybody's got like a space they can go into. And as I was doing that, I was like, well, there's a lot of like unused space above. I could put shelves up there, or I could just raise the bed so that way you can be like underneath it like a...
Is Kade inventing the bunk bed?
No, I think I'm
It's like
inventing the
dorms.
loft.
Yeah,
like
if you want your bed lofted or
Yeah.
not.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I guess higher so that I could put things under. Wait, hold on. Cevna. Cevna is Cecilia. Cecilia Monroe.
Your grandma's friend?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, why is your grandma's friend trying to kill us?
I don't know. She says she's not, but it really seemed like she was. Anyway, I was working on some things, and I realized that the necklace that I have, I got it from my grandmother, but it looks almost exactly like the one she's wearing. And I don't know. It just, the way she talked to me earlier, it all made sense. And I don't know. I went and I talked to her, and it's her.
Well, what'd she say?
Just that she thinks we're wrong, and we think she's wrong, and we're just going to have to see who wins. But it's almost as if she's seeing this as a game.
Yeah, I was really kind of hoping that, like, when we met somebody who was, like, real deep into being an ether user, they weren't gonna see normal people as just ants. It's a real bummer that, like, the first person we met did, because that kind of confirms a lot of the fears that people have and the stories that people tell.
She wants the world to turn again because that's what the world wants to do. And on some level, I do see some logic in that. But like I said to her, it's not worth the lives of everybody, everything on the planet. There's no feasible way for everyone to survive, for everything to survive. We'd have to find an entire new way of life, and that just seems so insurmountable. But regardless, we should just keep fixing the movement cores, and that's it, right?
I guess I never thought about, like, that's what the planet wants to do. Like, that is what the planet wants to do. Like, not we, but somebody did something to the planet to, like, stop it.
I just don't know what she's going to do to try and stop us.
I know we already talked about, like, the idea of we got to keep doing this work, and I agree with that still. I wonder if we could find anybody, like, or anything even in some of these old places, if we just knew what the planet was like, or why these things are here. Like, we know why they're here now, what they do for us, but why in the first place, you know?
Yes, I think the more research we can do, the better. The problem is, in all of the years that the clockwinders were at their height, nobody ever found any evidence.
I think there's something to be said for, I used to work with this guy who was one of the best lock pickers I'd ever known. And that's what he could do. That's what he could focus on. And then when he encountered his first lock that had like ether involved with it, well, that's not a lock. Well, it's like, well, but it still is. He's like, no, that doesn't count. The whole point is that sometimes people get so set in the way they see things that even if they find other evidence, they won't believe it. Like maybe there was stuff that is out there, but because the clock winders, we wind the machines, we keep it going. Oh, that's just fantasy stuff. Ignore it.
I guess we just have to keep a better eye out at the rest of the movement course. See if there's anything we would have missed if we weren't looking for it.
Yeah, like when we were at the swamp, I didn't even think about it. Like I was so focused on we fix the thing so that bad stuff doesn't happen, but I could have taken time to study that machine and try to figure out what it actually did.
Well, Kade, there's still one right here.
There is one right here. I could take a break. You want to go check the clock tower?
Yeah, let's see if there's something that's been missed.
Okay.
Also, can you bring my bed down a little bit? I didn't actually mean that high.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's that high because it's me. I want to give him plenty of room to curl up underneath.
Okay, cool, great.
How does a sphere curl up?
Just all of his
tick,
legs.
Tick, 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 and then
Like a spider.
spider dying.
Oh, God.
Because then when he wakes up, he's like a blooming flower because his legs unfold from the top.
My beautiful, beautiful orb. Okay, so you two are heading back to the movement core that is under the Dawn Palace.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Those doors are repaired now, so you are able to get in and out the normal way. You know how to get into the big old clock and up to the movement core chamber.
As we're headed that way, can I find somebody who would be willing to like run down Einon and give him a message and let him know where we are?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell some of the greener clockwinders what to do. They'll listen to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time to go bar crawling looking for him, but I want him to know where we are.
You may never see this clockwinder again is the problem. They're going to go get a taste of
the life.
the good life, of Einon's life. Yeah, this is one of the ones who's doing this as like a prison duty. And he's like, oh, dang, guess I'll get out there and hit the town.
They're like, Kade and Maxine are going to the clock tower. And Einon's like, well, I'm here. So let me tell you about that.
Yeah, look, you got a scene. You two got a scene. Yeah. It's time for an Einon scene.
Einon and the temp getting drunk.
Coyote Ugly.
Yes.
You know, your buddy from the hospital is definitely there too drinking, even though he's not supposed to be out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's in his gown, ass out.
I'm like, well, when in Rome, and I take my pants off.
Drinks up, ass out.
I'm just imagining Einon and assless chaps now.
Get that art.
Okay, yeah, you send one of these other agents out into the town to track down Einon. So we'll come back to that after an appropriate amount of time has passed.
Yeah, several hours, definitely.
So yeah, what are you two doing in here? It is a little bit more like presentable in here now, and there are actually some personnel in the tower now. Like now that you have finally managed to open it, just they've taken the initiative to clean it up some, get rid of all the fucking webs that are up at the top.
All of the rubble from the crumbled in door.
And yeah, there are some people like kind of like a museum. Like there are a couple people who are just observing the tower. One of them's like sketching it. One of them is just kind of writing notes. But they turn to acknowledge your entry, and then they kind of like, ooh, oh no, scramble out of the way, because they assume you guys have more important shit going on than they do.
Hello. No, you don't need to leave. That's sorry. I didn't mean to kick everyone out of here.
Did you see that oil painting? That was beautiful.
Thank you. That clockwinder's a mouse, I guess.
Or really far away. He ran.
So yeah, I think the thing that I'm doing in here is just going to the movement core itself, and like we know a thing it does. It stops the planet from rotating. We also know that it running makes the train run. It powers the train. It also has some effect on the clock tower. So like the closest example I can think of is tracking the wiring. It's like, okay, here's the thing that's doing something. Where can I track like power going to? And is there like, okay, well, here's a big one and it goes someplace I have no idea.
I think the first place to start would be determining, was the movement core put in the clock tower or was the clock tower built around the movement core?
Do you want to do that?
Sure.
And then I will do like this grid thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You planned for this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh, for sure.
if I remember right, when we asked, like, does it say what the movement core is doing in the book? No.
No.
Yeah, when you asked, I said, in detail, and I know it all.
It's time to make some lore that may drastically change the trajectory of this campaign.
I'm trying to decide if these are rolls or not. You only roll if there's something that could be interesting from failure. I think there could be. I don't think it would be like something happens right this second, but I think like a misinterpretation or something.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, we just can't glean any information here, but we're going to have to keep an eye out at the next ones we go to.
Mm.
All right. I think you're both going to be rolling to overcome with investigate. Maxine, just determining the two relative like ages of things. I don't think that's going to be hard. I think you're just trying to beat up like a +1. Kade, I think that what you're trying to determine, Kade probably doesn't know, but I think out of character I can tell you like some part of that is functionally impossible. You know, like these things are intrinsically like part of the world. So unless you make a big fuck off drill or something,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be able to just follow the wires wherever they go.
Yeah. Or at least like having examined like all of them,
Yeah.
be able to.
I think for being able to like understand and draw the appropriate conclusions from what you can see, I think it's still going to be pretty fucking
Yeah,
hard.
that's fair.
I think you're going for I want to say a 5. My gut is telling me a 5.
That's fair. Yeah, because the player, and Kade doesn't know, like, is this information that no one has just ever looked for, or is it someone has looked and it's just hard to find?
Sure.
So I have a 4.
Okay.
I will, I'll spend a fate point to invoke the Mechanist. Man, I understand how machines work.
Okay. So that will bring you to a success. Maxine, what do you got?
11.
No.
Rolled the wrong dice.
Wrong dice. No, you don't.
11. No, it's a 5.
Okay, that's going to be a success with style. So you'll get what you want and you'll get a boost.
I'm also going to spend, I have a free invoke left on Cut Rate Magnet School Science Program.
Okay.
Because I want to bump myself up to a success with style, because I think this is important. And so I think, like, as I'm going through this stuff, it probably takes a while to investigate it, and that the teacher comes by, like, on a field trip with those students, and they come in and they point out some stuff that...
Their child brain solves it.
Yeah.
The
like,
innocence of a child,
Yeah.
the simplicity.
You get them
I
into
love
some of
that.
the nooks and crannies
that I can't fit into, yeah.
You're just holding a kid by their ankles. Go down.
Oh, God.
How far does this look like it goes?
This is
I'm
turning
going to tie
into-
this rope to your ankle. You just let me know when to pull you out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you both succeed with style. You'll both get boosts. Starting with Maxine's, because it is a simpler question. You can tell that the movement core is much older than the tower around it. You can tell that the movement core was the thing that was here first. It seems like it has been, like, maybe kind of vertically repositioned here, like to be up in this clock, but, like, this is where it's been for a long time, and the tower and probably the palace were built around it. Kade, I don't even know how to begin answering this.
Yeah.
I also think this takes, like, quite a while.
Yeah.
Long enough that, like, Einon, the messenger, finds you, you are able to return, assuming that's what you intend to do.
I definitely keep the messenger around a little bit.
Okay.
There's a little bit of razzing going on there before I finally go with him.
Okay, you get a couple drinks in the messenger, and then you two both skip back to the palace.
Okay.
But yeah, you return to find Maxine and Kade at the movement core, and Kade is, like, deep in the shit. Kade is in the fucking drift right now, trying to figure out what this mechanism does.
What on earth am I necessary for?
I could be back at the bar right now.
We just didn't want it to be like a super Einon light episode.
Say something funny.
Well, after the parade and everything, they named a drink after me, so I was having some Einon lights at the bar right now. I'd prefer to still be there. Look,
Einon.
Look, my ass is out.
Oh, you card. I'm glad you're in this episode. All right. So, Kade, you spend hours
Yeah.
and hours investigating this, just putting children all sorts of places that they don't belong.
Just turning into like Snowpiercer. We got to do what we need to survive.
And as explained, you can't like trace every wire where it goes. They disappear into the core of the planet, into the depths of the machine, like places you just can't get to. But the overarching functions that you are able to discern from this are, as you might suspect, like energy suppression and energy redirection. You know, and that tracks with what you know, that like these cores prevent the rotation of the planet. They are suppressing that force. They power the rails. Okay, they're redirecting this energy somewhere else. When they leak, that energy comes out, like it can be siphoned off and utilized. But it seems like they, as a system, are capable of doing a job even more massive than you expected. And like, preventing the planet from rotating is no fucking small feat, right? Like, that's bananas. But they have the potential to do something much larger. And it is still in the vein of suppressing and or redirecting energy. So it's not like creating energy. They're not like a giant bomb or anything like that. I think you also get the impression that there are more on this planet than what you have accounted for.
That's the thing I think Kade was wondering about, like the idea of, are there wires or what, whatever, is there something running past the palace, since I know that we are on the, the sunward most side.
Interesting. Yeah. Yes, I think like both directionally, like which way do the wires run, and just like, well, I understand the potential of this mechanism, and I understand what the ones we know of are accomplishing, and it would require more of them to fulfill the potential I can see a fragment of in this mechanism. So, presumably, those ones no longer function, right? Like, for how bad of condition these ones are in that have been being maintained in recorded history, those other ones are probably no good. And if all of them were good, the movement cores might be doing a different thing entirely.
Whoa.
And the other thing that you notice, sort of in conjunction with what Maxine is looking for, she's looking for like the relative age of the core versus the building. You get so into the nitty gritty of these, like obviously the movement cores, are unfathomably old. They're older than anybody. Nobody knows where they came from, who made them, why. Even despite that vast chasm of age, like how much older this is than anything else around you, you are able to pick up on elements of it that are marginally newer, that separate from whatever their original purpose was, somewhere in the prehistory, since their creation, they were modified.
I think Kade like comes crawling out of the grandfather clock, just
like the girl from The Ring.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay.
What'd you find?
It's so much. Okay, the most important thing is I don't know what it does. Because I want to set expectations.
Okay.
But there's more locations of movement cores than what we know of, and not just in the livable zone, but in the places that aren't hospitable for life. And somebody's modified them, like not recently, but from whatever their original purpose was. So like, if whatever it was, like if we got all of these locations working, there's a thing that when all of them are running, it did a thing. But somebody was like, nah, or maybe it stopped working, whatever, and they found these, and they said, well, I can use these to do this other thing, so that's what they're going to put their focus into. So, like, we know that these are stopping the planet, and it can do that without the other ones, because those other ones are offline. They're not working.
Oh my gosh. There are other movement cores?
Yay! More homework. And Rev, I will add in like the time scale of what you're looking at, like within the last couple hundred years, maybe even more within like the last couple millennia. Like the technology of the movement cores is fucking old, and whatever the modification is just slightly less old.
Okay.
So like we're probably talking thousands of years.
Okay.
All right, so very interesting. We have to assume then that if they were going to take the time and redirect that, if tidally locking the planet was not the original intent, it would seem to me like that is a great deal of work if it wasn't necessary.
Maybe that was part of the original intent, and it's being modified to do something else we just don't know about.
Yeah, like that's just the only example I can think of. Like this thing is powerful enough, it's big enough, and we happen to know that these 6 locations are all it needs to stop the rotation of the Earth. But whatever it does bigger, it needs all of them.
Right, yes. But so the shift, the need to use these particular 6 to lock the planet, like, why would they do that unless they needed to for some reason? I know that this is just an assumption, but I feel like that drives me even further to make sure that we fix the other 4. If they knew something we didn't and used the ones that either were left, if these mysterious others were broken already at that point, or maybe not, maybe they just didn't care about the original intention. Maybe they knew tidally locking the planet would destroy the others, but it didn't matter because the 6 that they needed had to be used for this new purpose.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, what these do, they absorb energy and they redistribute it.
Oh,
right. So they're taking in this energy. They're making the trains run, for example. They're making the clock go. Let's say that we're back thousands and thousands of years. You know, people here, we get along relatively well, but like there are skirmishes. Like, imagine that there's like 2 other kingdoms, and they all got part of the planet, and you're on this middle strip, and you go, I could tidally lock the planet with just these and freeze out and burn out my enemies.
Oh, well, that's morbid, but...
Yeah, like it doesn't necessarily... I'm just saying, it's not necessarily someone did it for a nice reason. Usually, I think when someone maybe is affecting the, course of a planet, it may not be for the most beneficial to everybody. I don't know, just having met now one single ether user.
Or maybe something happened to the sun and it got way hotter and the world turning was making everything burn up, and so they locked it in place to save some of it.
That's true. Oh, maybe I don't know. I don't know if we know about this. Maybe the sun changed styles. What is our understanding of? Surely we don't understand.
Is it
that.
big and red?
Yeah, or is it blue?
Is it like a Superman sun or
Yeah.
like a Earth sun?
Kate doesn't know that. But what Maxine said. Maybe
Yeah.
the sun was too hot.
or the moon was too cold.
I don't think we have a moon.
Oh.
I think we determined this. It's in the album art, so there must be a moon now.
Yeah.
It's just also
That's true.
locked.
Yeah.
Also, I love that idea that the sun is locked on one side and the moon's locked on the other.
It has its own series of tiny movement cores that keep it stuck on the planet's rotation.
There's some like little species that just lives on the moon, and all they know is that they must maintain these cores.
They got tiny little movement cores.
Yeah.
And they're having trouble. We've got to go to the moon.
The moon's actually like wicked close. Like if you just find a big enough like catapult, you can get there.
What's the name of the big mountain range?
Here,
Yeah.
the Cloud Gate Mountains.
Yeah, if you go to the Cloud Gate and you bring a ladder, you can get to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah.
You climb up the ladder, and halfway up, the gravity inverts because now you're being pulled into the moon instead.
But those mountains are on the belt, so we would have to go to like it wouldn't be the South Pole.
Oh,
it would
that's true.
It'd be the night side pole.
Yeah.
And hope that there's some solid land there.
So yeah, that's a lot. Someone a long time ago messed with them, but there's more of them.
Do you suppose if you were able to get your eyes on the other 4, that it would give you further clues potentially to the original purpose?
I don't think so. Like, I feel like the one thing we do know is they're kind of linked. Like, they work together to do a thing. So getting to see all these, like, if we didn't know that they were keeping the planet tidally locked, like, that I might be able to figure out. Like, okay, what are these things doing from their original purpose? What I'm maybe hoping, though, is that if we get eyes on all these other ones, we might be able to figure out, like, the closest ones outside of the ones that we know about because of where stuff is running out of them towards.
Yes, discover if there are any close enough to feasibly make a trek.
Yeah, because that would be, aside from just finding a new movement core, the information that could be there in the sense of history that we don't know about.
Yes, especially they are still in their original state. If these 6 were the ones that were modified for this newer purpose and they weren't, there could be, well, explicit clues, possibly, about what they did.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure that this tower was built around the movement core, but it was actually repositioned to fit better within this tower. So maybe one of the movement cores that isn't so integral to a cityscape would give us more insight to the past.
This is certainly a long-term project compared to what we must embark to complete, but color me interested.
Oh, we have to tell Chief Foreman.
Yeah, she might even send out another team to go look into these, though I would doubt that that would really be as good storytelling.
We'll just send the new recruits to go after the known ones, and then we'll venture out into the great unknown.
There we are. Jake just hucks the book into the garbage.
No, fuck it. Let's
I
go.
don't need this anymore.
Hell yeah. Here's a thought. What if you guys just tell them all this and then you all retire? And then the rest of the story just happens off camera.
And we just get rich and we just throw parades for a living.
Yeah, you just like live off the residues. And yeah, what are you doing with this realization? As Einon has just introduced, you do have a smaller scale, more immediate task at hand. But genuinely, whether you guys want to fucking disregard that and pursue this new lead or whatever, I don't care. I am open.
No, I don't think it's wise to disregard potential information in the search of a new quest when we could potentially find clues to help us on that quest. Like, we should be taking on something new and undiscovered with as much help as we can.
Yeah, because if we're like, we've fixed 2 of these, we know that that's going to stabilize the planet for a while. Let's go out into the Frostlands to try to find these. We'd have no idea where to start. But visiting these other cores might give us clues where to go if we try to find the other ones.
I like it. But in the doing, if we discover, because of local tale or something, there could be another one close, maybe we swing by.
Oh, sure.
Maybe
I
we
don't
just swing by.
think the order of them is locked by any means.
Yeah. Not like this planet,
Hey,
right?
right?
I'm going back
so
to the
glad
pub.
you're here today,
Einon, I
Einon.
love you in this episode.
I'm helpful. This whole time, too, I'm just like sitting on the second level of the clock tower with a glass of wine, having this conversation.
A tin of caviar.
Yeah.
As we're heading back to the Dawn Palace, I'm telling Einon,
So, Cevna's actual name is Cecilia. I know her, I know of her.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she was a friend of my grandmother, and I think because of the ether that she wields, it's kept her from aging, because she should look like my grandmother looked, and she does not.
That's incredibly interesting. I hadn't found any specific cases of ether participating in a de-aging sort of magic, though I suppose that makes sense with many of the Fae who are long-lived. It may just be more of a byproduct of the ether, and now I'm just spiraling about.
Yeah, she's deep in the sauce.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. It locks the planet in place. Why wouldn't it, like, lock your age in place?
Whoa.
I look at Kade.
We could be young forever.
Yes.
No, I've got to get me some of that.
All right. And we end on the whole squad agreeing to cave to the powers of ether. Join us next time for the heel turn, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in more information about the setting or the game system Fate, you can find more information in the episode description. If you want to hear any more stuff we've made before, you can check out our Patreon. That is patreon.com/theCritShow. Hundreds of hours of audio and video content, goodies that go out every now and then.
Yeah.
Which we are coming up on.
It's so hard.
Oh, should I not say that?
Listen, we're trying to make these intros and outros evergreen, but
Yeah.
it makes it hard because we can't talk about anything that's happening in real time.
Yeah. So I guess all we can say is at the moment that this is coming out, we're very excited about the next thing that is going to come out, and it's just whatever the next thing is that's coming out when you listen.
Well, listen, I think we should say it because that might get someone who's not in the Patreon like, oh, hell yeah.
And it's also, I mean, it's related to
this show specifically.
It's not
related to like, a convention coming up.
And maybe it'll still exist in the future in
That's
some capacity.
true. We have like opened those shirts up, for example.
Like 40 years from now, when recorded history has forgotten.
Reset.
It's an Ether Beaver shirt.
It is. It is an Ether Beaver shirt for our t-shirt tier in the Patreon. It's fucking radical.
It's super radical. Very punk.
Yeah. And the other element for our digital swag tier is we're having a map made by the same person who made the Perilous Tides map, and it's going to be awesome as well.
Yep, so some cool Kedvini lore merch coming your way. Thank you once again for joining us, everybody. Tune in next time for another episode of The Clockwinders, and Clockwinders, tell them goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.